So we started with a shot of the empty egg container as Vince is. This has to be like the silliest. I mean, if you look at the show description for our podcast, that's exactly why I wrote it as such. Vince is just sitting there with Pierce and DeVille, and they recap the night before that this was a gift that The Rock gave him, and then he gets in the line, well, he probably owed it to me, but he did still give it. And he's upset that someone stole from him. That is the offense. Pierce and DeVille have interviewed everyone, and Vince threatens to fire the two if the egg doesn't show up by the end of the night. DeVille says they have surveillance footage, ruling it could be a man or a woman, and whoever brings the culprit will get a WWE Championship match against Big E tonight. This is the equivalent of winning the Royal Rumble, is finding this egg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And obviously more valuable than being a sole survivor on the Survivor Series team, more valuable really than any actual match at the Survivor Series is the ability to find this egg.
Did you notice that tonight though, it felt like the commitments for Red Notice were all contained to Sunday because this was just about the egg. There was no like Red Notice plastering all over the episode. Yeah. It was just them taking this and continuing it for a night for their own purposes.
Yeah, I felt like, I mean, it was almost a way, like the more important aspect of it was the fact that it was Vince McMahon on TV to carry on this mystery whodunit storyline. And less about, because I don't recall hearing Red Notice mentioned on commentary, unless I'm mistaken.
I didn't notice anything on,
certainly,
at least within the body of the show, and we're not getting the US feed.
Obviously. I would imagine maybe they had to have some sort of deal in it, even to use a prop, don't you think?
It could have been
permission, some sort. But so are you suggesting, like, are we trying to make some sort of inference about whether or not they actually made money from Red Notice for tonight or not?
I would imagine it was just an overall, just a product integration that they had an agreement for. And I mean, if they wanted to take it, and I'm sure when it comes to these, it's not necessary. It's probably like the WWE side of how do we integrate it into the product, and thus it was a Survivor Series promotion, and they just decided to make it an angle to send people to Monday night.
I mean, I think maybe the appeal of it is less about. I mean, it's again mainly Vince, and also having a storyline that carries into a show long angle to drive interest up on Raw. And realistically, Survivor Series probably was too quick. Didn't offer enough time to solve this stupid story anyway. So maybe it was just their thinking.
Kevin Owens is in the back. He's got his camera phone on. He's got the light on his camera phone as he is looking for this egg. And Schreiber asks him about abandoning.
I'm just trying to envision the perspective of somebody who didn't watch this show and is only listening to your recap. How ridiculous this shit sounds.
Kevin Owens is wandering around with his cell phone with the flashlight on, looking for an egg that would grant him a title match. DeVille tells Vince that they know where the egg is. So we go to commercial. Everyone's calling up their friends. Yo, they found him. They know where the egg is. Turn on Raw. It's going to be a big moment. We come back. Sami Zayn is in the room with Pierce and DeVille. Austin Theory walks in with the egg. Vince says, why did you do it? He says, I just wanted to take a selfie with it yesterday. But there was security, and I got scared, and I went back to the hotel. See? And he showed a selfie he took with the egg. Vince is going to drop the charges. Austin reminds him of himself. And Austin, you will get the title shot tonight. This upsets Sami, who was under the impression that I was going to find the person that stole it and I would get the shot. Vince tells him to shut up. And he calls Sami a snitch.
Nobody likes a snitch.
This was the climax of this whole story.
Oh, yeah.
There were no suspects.
No.
There was nothing.
The climax of this story is when Nick Khan looks into the WWE's bank account and sees the zeros at the end coming off of this Red Notice thing. That's the only reason why any of this shit exists. Okay, it's like it's so they can make money off of this deal that this movie is paying them a stupid amount for whatever reason, and so that they can create another ad on top of a show that they're already getting paid millions for. So the real suckers are the people that are still watching and giving them this, promotional power. But in terms of creativity, are you kidding me? Like it's just a means to an end.
Mysteries are like the easiest thing. They are not the easiest to necessarily plot out, but they typically will hold people. Like people love a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not asking for making a murderer here to be written overnight here for WWE, but
can we? Sorry, please finish your point.
All I wanted was just give me a show that's got like some mystery throughout and then a payoff at the end. Instead, we got people rummaging through popcorn and using the flashlight on their phones, and then the dude just walks in with it. Like, break this down, this logic here. It was, I will give them this, okay? I will give them this.
That they actually gave us a payoff, because they've dangled mysteries in the past with zero payoff. So this is already better.
What I'm going to say is the faintest of praise that I will throw towards this angle is that on Sunday, when Roman Reigns walked into that room, the security guy took off.
Okay.
So there was a free path.
Oh, okay. All right.
Steal the egg.
Great. Yeah. Okay. So
that's what I've got, Way. That's what I've got. After literally 7 hours of WWE programming, that is my highest praise I've got for
so clever. Are you kidding me? Wow. Should we make an Easter egg video about this? Man, I didn't even catch it on my second viewing of it. I'm gonna have to go back.
Dude, this was the wire.
Yeah. Can we go back though to Survivor Series and how blatantly they tried to dangle The Rock in front of this audience? Okay, I think he wasn't gonna show up. All right, but the average person watching that show, you cannot convince me that
I would not hold it against anyone in that building that was hoping that The Rock was going to show up. I don't think many people were aware that he's in Australia. It's just impossible. But I will say this: it makes, and I understand for Red Notice, there was a certain level of promotion that comes with that you want to integrate The Rock, and there is no way that Netflix was sitting down and saying, you know what would really put this whole partnership over the top? Your top guy doing a rock bottom in the main event match that would elicit a chant of Rocky. I think that would be the cherry on top for this agreement.
Well, why did he bring Roman Reigns into the room? Why Roman Reigns, and why the mention? I mean, okay, because it's The Rock's movie. I understand. But again, the whole thing was, to me, blatantly done to try to get the audience to think that this guy was going to show up, if not on Sunday, then on the Monday. And we'll see in the ratings whether or not it worked. But I mean,
I do think tonight's Raw will actually do somewhat like this egg thing, and coming off the Survivor Series, I'm actually expecting that and Vince being on TV, Vince being on TV is the biggest thing,
which is a real shame because it means we're morons. Okay,
wait till Easter.
Yeah,
we'll have a whole Easter egg hunt.
It means we are that stupid. They can go really the least amount of effort in creating these terrible angles, and as long as it's a big name like Vince McMahon attached to it, as long as it's the thing that scrapes by with the bare minimum of a definition of a whodunit, they can see a spike. So I hope these ratings are terrible tomorrow, just to send them a message. But I mean, whatever. It won't change anything.
Sean Ross Sapp had a great tweet after last night, and that was that Impact got more out of The Rock for Bound for Glory last year, with Ken Shamrock going into the Hall of Fame, than WWE got for the 25th anniversary of The Rock. You are not telling me that, I don't care what quarantine measures are in place, how far away he is, that he couldn't have at least sent a video.
So this was the other thing too, because he's been on his Instagram posting photos, apparently from LA, he's posting him eating from like an LA sandwich shop or something. And you know, celebrities can probably like, you know, pre-record this stuff and tweet it out on a schedule at all times. But you had a lot of the audience thinking that he was actually still around and not actually in Australia. But and yeah, but it's ridiculous. If you could take the time to record something for his Instagram, you're telling me you can't do it for a show that's essentially dedicated to you?
Yeah, it just seemed like it was this whole show is structured around The Rock. We don't have The Rock. So, you know, you have to work around that. Okay, logistically he can't be here. We need something. We need to do something to not have an audience that is naturally, and they're being pushed in that direction as well. Like by putting Roman on last, just everything they did, it was tailor made for that audience in that arena to expect it. Like, I don't blame them.
Which is why I think they were more than happy to operate on the assumption from the audience that he would eventually show up.
That's such a weird line of thinking. It's like they're going to be so excited and want to see The Rock. We can't deliver it. Like, why would you do that?
To get the rating.
But for last night, like, what benefit is it to structure so much around, like, even the rock bottom spot is mind boggling to me. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I was gonna say to drive interest to today, perhaps, but I don't know how much.
I don't think anyone believed he was coming tonight. It was, I think, you know, after Sunday, I think those that were not aware of the filming schedule were after last night. But nonetheless, I mean, tonight's show, I'm sure we'll see an interesting number come out on Tuesday.